You may be seated. Come on up. Before you sit down, raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and the truth, so help you God.
Yes, ma'am.
Have a seat. You're under oath. Please spell your name for us.
Officer Anthony Napoli. First name Anthony, common spelling. Last name Napoli. N like Nancy. A-P-O-L-I.
Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Newman.
Thank you. Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah.
Officer, how long have you been a police officer, sir?
Approximately 7.5 years.
Okay. And how long have you been a police officer with the City of Warren?
About 4 years.
Okay. And where were you a police officer before that?
Macomb County Sheriff.
Okay. And I want to take you, well, let me ask you, do you know an individual by the name of Officer James Burke?
Yes,
Okay. And do you see him in the courtroom today?
I do.
Okay.
Your Honor, we will stipulate to identification, thus that way the officer doesn't have to point out a fellow officer.
So noted.
So no, thank you. And how long have you known Officer James Burke?
Approximately 15 years.
Okay. So you knew Officer Burke prior to working with the Warren Police Department?
Yes,
Okay. And how did you first come to know Officer Burke?
in high school.
Okay. All right. And so eventually, though, you ended up at the same police department?
Correct.
Okay. I want to take you back to the date of November 29th, November 30th of 2024. Do you remember, obviously, an incident that occurred back on that date that brings you
Yeah.
here to court?
Yes.
Okay. Were you working on that particular date?
Yes.
Okay. What was your job responsibilities on that particular date?
Being a police officer, so responding to runs, conducting traffic stops.
Okay. So you were a patrol officer?
Correct.
Okay. Were you working with a partner on that date?
Correct.
Who was that?
Officer Paiseki.
Iseki. All right. And on that particular date, do you recall as you were working on patrol with Officer Paiseki, were you the driver of your vehicle or were you the passenger?
I was the driver.
Okay. And on that particular date, do you recall prior to, I guess, beginning your shift or at the beginning of your shift, being briefed? You get briefings about various activities and criminal activity that has been occurring in the city of Warren?
Yeah.
All right. And were you a part of that briefing that we've heard about that involved an ATM theft ring, if you were? There had been several ATM thefts in Warren?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And that was something that had been brought to your attention by supervisors at the Warren Police Department?
Correct.
Okay. When you're given that type of information, is that something you just kind of take note of in your head and so that you're vigilant when you're out on patrol?
Yes.
Okay. When you went out on patrol on this particular date, do you recall a dispatch involving a flock hit of a stolen vehicle?
Yes.
And it was around 4:56, 4:57 a.m. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right. Do you recall that?
Yeah. I don't recall the exact time, but approximately around that time.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. And do you recall when you received that flock hit and you received that over a dispatch radio? Was it? Okay. When you received that information over the dispatch radio, what information do you recall was given to you?
That there was a flock hit for a stolen dark colored Jeep Cherokee.
Okay. All right. And did you have a location where that flock hit had occurred?
Yeah, so the location was in the beginning at 10 and Shaner.
Okay.
And then dispatch also advised that there were 2 stolen guns inside of that vehicle.
Okay. All right. And was there additional information given with regards to a second location where that vehicle also hit on a flock camera?
Yes.
And where was that?
That was at Shaner and Groesbeck.
Okay. And so when you, so were you out on patrol on the streets at that point in time?
I wasn't
When
physically
those
on.
dispatches went out?
No, I was at the station.
You were at the station at the time?
Yeah.
Okay. Were you there with your partner at that point in time?
Yes.
Okay. Tell us, when you got that dispatch and you heard those, what did you do?
So when we heard the dispatch saying the flock hit, my partner and myself then walked down to our parking structure in the garage where our patrol vehicle was at. Got into our car, drove through the garage, waited for the garage door to open up, exited our garage. Once we got on common, we started heading to that direction.
To that direction, okay. And the station, what direction is that from Shaner and Groesbeck?
Northwest.
Okay. All right. So you start, your intention is to start heading northwest towards that location?
Well, I would be heading south.
I'm sorry. You're right.
It's opposite,
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
From the
Gotcha.
look- Yeah.
Right. Okay. So you start heading that way. And what was the purpose for heading that way?
To investigate the flock
Okay.
of the stolen vehicle that hit.
All right. And so at that point, you were just going to try and see if you could locate that vehicle, was it?
Yes.
All right. Okay. At that time, were you aware that there were also other police vehicles on patrol that may also be responding to that particular information?
Yes.
All right. Were you aware that Officer Burke was working on that night as well?
Yes.
When you began to respond to that area, you said you were on Common Road. How far is that from the police station?
The police station is on Common Road.
Okay. So you're right on
So I
the
was-
road.
Yep.
Okay. And as you're driving down Common Road, what happened?
Then we heard that there was an accident.
Okay. How did you hear that there was an accident?
Through a radio transmission, they said it was a 1050
Okay. What does 1050 mean?
vehicle accident.
A vehicle accident. Okay. All right. Sorry, logging out. One second. Okay, well, while that's loading, I'll um, I want to play for you starting at Exhibit 1F.
September 30, 2024, 4:57:50 a.m.
Just hit southbound Shaner and Groesbeck again.
You just testified you recall that particular dispatch?
Yeah.
Okay. Playing Exhibit 1G.
September 30, 2024, 4:59:39 a.m.
Service here.
Do you recognize that, sir?
Yes.
Okay. And do you recognize whose voice that is?
Yes.
Who is that?
It's Officer Burke.
Okay. All right. And were you able to tell what he said?
He said 1050 Shaner, and I can't make out the last word he said.
All right. Okay.
September
Playing
30,
Exhibit 1H.
2024, 4:59, 42 a.m.
Sherman Shaner.
Was that the dispatcher?
That's our dispatcher.
Okay. And could you make out what she said?
Yes.
What was that?
Sherman and Shaner.
Sherman and Shaner. Okay. Are you familiar with Sherman and Shaner?
Yes.
Okay. Where is that in relationship to Shaner and Prospect Street?
I just know that it's south of, I believe, south of Topher. I don't know if it's right next to Prospect. It might be, but I'm not familiar 100% on what street's north or south of it.
You don't remember the order of the street?
Correct.
That's, okay.
September 30,
Exhibit 1I.
2024, 4:59, 45 a.m.
A11
Were you able to make that out?
Yes.
What was that?
You want to, it
Can you
said
repeat it?
David Eleven's with him.
David 11 is with him, okay? And so David 11, is that, I guess, a call sign for another unit?
Correct.
Another police unit?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Do you know who David 11 was on that particular morning?
I don't recall
Okay.
exactly who they were.
All right. The Now, after hearing that it was called out about the 1050, what did you do?
Started heading that way,
All right.
driving a little bit faster than I would just to get there safely.
All right. Okay. And when you got to that location, what did you observe?
I observed a patrol vehicle that was involved in an accident in the middle of Shaner, and then a white Durango that was on its side.
Okay. And so when you came upon the scene and observed that, what did you do?
I immediately rushed up to the Durango and assisted other officers with extracting one of the victims out of the sunroof.
Okay. And when you came upon that scene by the Durango there, did you see Officer Burke there at that point?
As soon as I got on scene, I didn't really remember what officer I saw first. I just know that there was an accident and I was immediately rendering aid.
Okay. All right. And so did you, in fact, help pull one of the individuals out of the Durango?
Yes.
Okay. When you did that, then what did you do?
I got the guy out of the vehicle, and then I walked Officer Burke to like the sidewalk, like curb of the.
Okay. All right. And when you walked Officer Burke over to the curb, why did you do that?
Just to get him away from the scene.
Okay. All right. And when you walked him over away kind of from that scene, were there any other officers there with you?
I don't recall who was around me at that time.
Okay. All right. And do you recall talking to Officer Burke at that point in time?
I don't recall what we were having a conversation about.
Okay. Do you remember what Officer Burke was doing as you were standing there talking with him?
No.
No. Okay. But you do remember standing, talking with him, trying to kind of get him away from the scene.
Yeah, and then I observed that he had some lacerations on his arm. So
Okay.
then I was going into the trunk of patrol cars to get a first aid kit.
Okay. All right. And so you left him at some point to go do that?
Correct.
All right. Now, as you were standing by the curb before you went to go get and get the first aid kit. If you saw well, let me ask you this: were you wearing a body-worn camera video system at that point in time?
Yes.
Okay. And have you had an opportunity to review that body camera video?
Not recently, no.
Not recently, but at some point, have you?
Yeah, probably over like a year ago.
Okay.
So a long
All right.
time.
Okay. All right. If you saw that particular video, would that help to refresh your memory as to what the defendant was saying to you and what he was doing as you were there standing with him?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. 1 second there. Judge Meyer, or Butch, just for a second. Sure. Sorry. Calm
Right.
at that point. Okay. Do you recall what he did when he came and you were face to face with him and you were trying to do that?
No.
No. Okay. I'm going to move to admit People's Exhibit number 11, which is the body cam for Officer Napoli.
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 No.
Okay. All right.
Any objection?
No objection.
It's admitted.
And I've got it queued up for the record to time of 5 minutes 4 seconds. I'm sorry, 5:04 a.m. and 33 seconds for the record. I'm going to play this for you, sir, and then I'll have some questions for you.
Car! Officer, passenger. You're good. You're good. Hey, have a seat. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. I know. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. I know. I got you. I got you. You're fine. Sit down. Sit down. We got you. We got you. He's fine. He's good. Sit down. Hey, guys, come in. Come on. Put your car in. Let me one second. Let me for a second. All right? I got you. I got you. Let's go to my car. Come on. Breathe. Take a breath. You're good. You're good. You're good.
Okay. You recognize that video?
Yeah.
Okay. And was that your body cam video from the date of this incident?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So I want to go back to around the beginning of the video portion that I played.
You're good. Hey, have a seat. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. I know. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down.
The individual that's right in front of you at that point in the video, who is that?
That's Burke. Officer Burke.
Officer Burke, okay. And your body-worn camera, where is that located on your body as it's recording this video?
Right here.
Okay. In fact, you have one on now.
I don't have the camera
You
on.
don't have
no.
the camera on now, but that's the location where it would be attached to?
Yeah.
Okay, for the record, the witness stood up and pointed to kind of right around the sternum area, would it be?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. And I want to show you.
Sit down. Sit down. I know. I got you. I got you. You're fine. Sit down. Sit down. We got you. We got you. He's fine. He's good. Sit down.
Okay. pausing it at 5:05:01. Okay. What was Burke doing at that point in time?
I don't know.
Okay.
Touching onto me.
All right. That his hand is located where though on your body?
Around like my belly button area.
Okay. That was that the body worn camera that the hand is at?
It's near it. I don't know if it's on it.
Okay. All right. And do you hear what Officer Burke said just as he was putting his hand in that area? Were you able to hear that?
No.
No. Okay. I want you to listen for what he says to you.
You sit down. Sit down. Sit down. I know. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. I know. I got you. I got you. You're fine. Sit down. Sit down. We got you. We got you. He's fine. He's good. Sit down.
Did you hear that?
No.
Okay.
I heard mumbling.
All right. You're not able to make out what that is yourself?
No, I
Okay.
can't.
All right. When Officer Burke is reaching or touching you in that area, what are you doing at that time?
I'm trying to have him have a seat.
Okay.
Because he was just involved in that bad accident.
Right.
And
Okay.
he wasn't stable.
Right. Okay. When you say he wasn't stable, meaning on his feet, he wasn't
He's-
very stable.
I mean, he was swaying. I mean, I'm not a doctor, but it possibly looked like he was concussed.
Okay. Right. Okay. Okay. I want to take you to a little bit later in the video and ask you a couple questions. Okay. Beginning the video at 5:06:05. All right. Do you recognize like where you are kind of at this point?
Just by a patrol car.
All right. Was this then after you had walked? Well, did you walk with Burke away from where we just saw over towards a patrol vehicle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good. I got you. I got you, buddy. I got you. I got you.
Okay. Again, did you see the individual that's across from you that's touching the area right here on your body, your sternum area?
Yeah.
Okay. Was that Officer Burke again?
Yeah.
Okay.
One right here, but right.
Now, the video is silent for a period of time. Do you know why it was silent?
Must have been talk about some personal stuff.
Okay.
I don't know what we were talking about though.
Did you turn your camera or the audio off on the camera?
I muted it, yes.
Okay.
He's gonna go. Go to light. Go to light.
voice?
Yeah.
Okay. And what did you say to Officer Burke?
Don't say a word.
Okay. And I'm going to go to going forward to 5:11:48 in the video. Oh, sorry. $5:11:47 in the video.
Don't be talking to nobody. Don't talk to nobody.
Is that your voice again?
Yep.
All right. And what were you telling Burke at that point?
Not to talk to anybody.
So you stayed with Burke through that entire period of time, correct?
Not the entire time, no.
Well, other than, I think you said you went and got some first aid.
Yeah, I
items.
stepped away several times to look in different trunks for first aid kits.
Okay. All right. And then at this point, after speaking with him, what did you do?
After I was done speaking with
Correct,
him,
at the scene, correct.
then my partner and I got in the car and escorted the ambulance to the hospital.
Okay. All right. Which ambulance? Do you know?
I don't know. It's a Warren Fire Department.
Okay.
I don't know the exact one. But
I guess, bad question. The ambulance that you transported, do you know who was being transported in that ambulance?
yes,
Who was that?
that was Officer Rodolfo.
Okay. All right. So you assisted, then you went and assisted transporting
Correct.
Officer Rodolfo by ambulance.
Yes, I was in my
In your
car.
police car,
I was-
though?
Yes.
Okay. Gotcha. You helped with stopping traffic for the ambulance?
Yes.
Okay. Did you return to the scene at any point after that?
No.
Okay. Thank you. Anything further?
Thank you, go ahead, Mr. Faber.
Good afternoon, Officer Napoli.
Hello.
My name is Jerry Faber. I'm one of Officer Burke's attorneys.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so 7.5 years as a police officer,
Correct.
the past 4 years with Warren.
Yes.
And the area that we've been discussing throughout the bulk of this trial thus far has been basically the same district in Warren,
Yes.
along Shaner.
Correct.
Okay. Is that your standard district?
Yes, that's our city. Yeah.
So back in September of 24, was that your beat?
That was not my beat. No.
Okay.
That was not my patrol area.
Okay. Where was your patrol area at that time?
I was in the north end car, so north of 11 Mile.
Okay. What about in the years since?
Yep, that's my patrol area.
So, where we're basically where we're focused on here. Would you consider this among the higher crime areas of Warren?
Yes.
And every officer that patrols that area is aware of the heightened criminal activity there?
Correct.
Okay. And you were at the station when the first flock hit came out?
Yes.
And you were there for the briefing, correct?
Correct.
The evening before at 8 p.m.?
Yes.
So you learned that the focus of that hearing was this, what was referred to as the ATM-crew,
Correct.
but it was more than just theft of ATMs, correct?
Correct.
There was violent crime involved in this crew.
Yes.
In addition to stolen cars, there was an armed robbery.
Correct.
There was video of these suspects at gas stations displaying firearms.
Yes.
And the timing that a lot of that criminal activity by this crew occurred around the time that this incident unfolded on the 30th.
Yes.
And you were aware of that.
Yes.
And you were aware that vehicles similar to the Bolo were frequently used by this crew, Chrysler, but also specifically Jeeps.
Correct.
And all of that you had in mind when you got that Bolo hit, correct?
Correct.
It wasn't just stolen car,
Correct.
right? And that's why you decided to leave headquarters, and that's at 12th and Van Dyke.
Yes.
So you're miles away from where that flock hit was.
Yes.
And you knew that there were other patrol units much closer to that location than you.
Yeah.
But that's why you and Officer Pisecki left the
Correct.
station and started heading in that direction.
Exactly.
Okay. You were driving,
Yes.
and so it was you and Officer Pisecki in the same vehicle?
Correct.
And as a police officer, you've had significant training on how to drive vehicles under extreme conditions, correct?
Yes.
Things that the average citizen just does not get exposed to.
Correct.
In your years as a police officer, not just in Warren, you had occasion to exceed the speed limit, correct?
Yes.
Even significantly exceed the speed limit,
Correct.
right? To a point that would be to a citizen would be beyond the scope of what would be acceptable behavior.
Yes.
Okay, but not for a police officer that's properly trained.
Correct.
And on those occasions, if the strategy mandated it, you would make the decision on whether or not to activate your lights and
Correct.
siren.
Correct.
There's a lot of circumstances where you would be responding to a certain location, maybe for a breaking and entering, or to intercept a target vehicle, that it would be unwise strategically to activate your lights.
Is there a
Correct.
question?
It's a leading question.
It's a very long question. Can you try and make
I'll
more question form, please?
right.
Thanks.
There are times, correct, where it is strategic to not activate your lights
Correct.
and siren,
Correct.
even if you're significantly exceeding the speed limit.
Yes.
You had occasions in your past where if you alerted a potential suspect to your approach, there's been times in your career where they have successfully evaded you because of that alert, correct?
Correct.
The areas where you patrol, over time you learn them like the back of your hand, don't you?
Yes.
Where all the traffic signals are, all the stop signs,
Yep.
streets. If you hear a street that's broadcast over dispatch, you don't need to pull out a map to go to that location, right?
Right.
And you know the fastest route to that location, correct?
Yes.
You've worked at night, I believe was the testimony with the prosecutor.
Yes.
A significant portion of your career at night,
Yeah, most of my career, even at Macomb County.
and you've dealt with a lot of traffic stops and searches for stolen cars and things involving identification of vehicles, correct?
Yes.
So you become good, just like I would say the average officer, at identifying vehicles at night simply because of the shape of and format of taillights and headlights.
Yes.
Again, I'm going to object and ask that there's no question. It's just statements and then he's agreeing.
I think that's the definition of leading questions, which is completely proper in the cross-examination. Thank you, Your Honor. Officer Napoli, when you arrived at Sherman and Shaner after the collision, Officer Burke was in shock. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Based on your observations of him, based on you knowing him for the past 15 years?
Yeah.
Okay. He was mumbling. I think that was clear from your body cam video.
Yes.
He was unstable on his feet. He had trouble walking. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
The prosecutor pointed to a couple of points where you muted your camera. Okay. Was that done for a nefarious purpose? Was that done for a wrongful purpose?
No.
Is it fairly routine when you're having conversations with not just a fellow officer, but a friend who has just been in a horrific accident? Under circumstances like that, would it be uncommon to mute your microphone?
No, we're not.
When you were heard on the video saying, "Don't say a word," let me ask you this. Have you been involved yourself in a critical incident like an officer-involved shooting?
No.
Do you know officers who have?
Yes.
Have you received training on a protocol if somebody is involved in a critical incident?
Yes.
Does that protocol almost mandate no statements made until the FOP can be involved, or perhaps counsel?
Yes.
And in fact, there's even statements that the department might mandate, but those like Garrity statements, you're familiar with that?
Yes.
By policy, those do not.
Okay, there's got to be some more of a question in here than, you're assuming he understands Garrity, so you might want to ask some questions to lay a little foundation for that.
All right. Have you received training in what to do if you're involved in an officer-involved shooting?
Yes.
What is the policy regarding statements made in the moments immediately after a critical incident?
I'm going to object to the relevance of policies and protocols for officer-involved shootings. This has nothing to do with this case.
I said critical incident, and as an example, I said officer-involved shooting.
I'll let a small leeway, we don't want to get into all of that, but I'll give you some leeway into specifically this incident at that time.
What are you trained to do if you're involved in a critical incident in terms of making a statement?
To not speak to anybody until you're with your union rep.
Why did you tell Officer Burke to not speak?
Because he was just involved in a bad accident, so he wasn't in the right state of mind, so I just wanted to remind him to not talk to anybody.
Were you attempting to hide something?
No.
One moment. I have no further questions. Thank you, officer.
Mr. Newman, anything else?
At the time that you received the be on the lookout and left the station to go search for this vehicle, did you have any information specific to that vehicle that's the subject of the flock hit, that it had been in any type of involved in any type of violent crime prior to that date or that crash?
Nope, the only info we had was the vehicle was stolen with 2 stolen guns inside of it.
Okay. All right.
That specific vehicle.
Correct. Okay. And at that time that you received that information, at that time, did you know for certain that this exact stolen vehicle was a part of that ATM crew?
I did not know exactly it was on.
Right. you'd agree, well, let me ask. As a patrol officer, is it commonplace during your shift to get flock hits for various stolen vehicles?
Not recently, no.
Okay. All right. But it happens, correct?
That we get flock hits for stolen vehicles,
Correct.
yes.
Okay. All right. And when you get flock hits, have you responded to other stolen vehicle calls for flock hits as well?
Yes,
All right. And have you responded to flock hits for Jeep Grand Cherokees before?
yes,
Okay. Dodge Durangos before?
yes,
Lots of other types of vehicles, I assume, correct?
correct.
Okay. And you worked the, I'm sorry, your shift began about 8 p.m. usually?
Yes,
Until when usually?
8 a.m.
8 p.m. to 8 a.m. How long had you been working that shift?
for 4 years.
For 4 years, okay. And so those flock hits that you would have been responding to were all in that time frame between 8 p.m. and 8 a.m., correct?
Correct.
Okay, a lot of them would have been in that same time frame of 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. as well, correct?
Objection legal.
I'll rephrase.
Thank you.
Have you ever responded to flock hits between 3 and 5 a.m.
I responded to some, yes.
for stolen vehicles?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Nothing further.
Nothing else?
One question, Your Honor. Prosecutor said you didn't know for certain. Isn't that the nature of police work, to investigate?
Yes.
So when you're responding to a call, do you know anything really for certain until you get there? And
You're right. Yep. No, so I won't know anything until I get there.
so you looked at the totality of the circumstances when you made, is it fair to say that it was an assumption that this stolen Jeep could very well be involved in this ATM crew that you've been targeting as a department for so long?
Yes.
Nothing further.
You may step down. Your next witness, we're going to stand again. Please for a minute. Let's go like this. The next witness. Thank you.
Your Honor, may we have a sidebar briefly?
Sure. You can be seated. I'll have you stand again.